Testing 1 2. After a little bit of technical difficulties, we should be streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, AC Sports Live, on Twitch. It is the 9th day of December. I told you this year was going to fly by. And here we are. At the end of it, it's the best time of the year, though. Football's winding up. Basketball's heating up. Go UConn Huskies. I think they got the win tonight. NCAA football. Did the BCS get it right with their 12-team playoff? And I think Indiana is real. The way they put hands on Ohio State, they're my favorite to win it. UCLA gets its man. Bob Chesney addresses the UCLA faithful today in his press conference as he prepares with James Madison for the championship game next week. This is their championship. They get one shot at this versus Oregon. And then he'll be back in Westwood because I think it's going to get ugly. The NFL, my Eagles don't look good at all. Jalen Hurts' worst game of his pro career. The Colts digging in the crates, bringing back Phillip Rivers. Shador had a game. He will be the starter the rest of the season. We'll talk about that. My 2 cents. The Dodgers. We're not playing fair. We just signed Edwin Diaz. Yes, that Edwin Diaz from the Mets. The Clippers cut CP3 during his retirement tour. We'll talk about that. My Tender Love report. Guess who's back? Anthony Davis with a double. Briefly talk about that. My bowl game rejections makes the Tender Love report. And my sports flicks, the Diddy doc. No, it's not sports related, but it is sports related because his son played for UCLA. And we're going to go back to what Rick Neuheisel's reasoning was. Why would you recruit a kid who did not pan out athletically? And he said very bluntly, and we'll talk about that. This is AC Sports Live, and you are in the place to be. It's about that time once again to get it going. Let's go. Let's go. There we go.
Got a right to be hostile, man. My people been persecuted.
Had some technical difficulties tonight. I think Facebook is out to get me. They would not let me do my schedule, which will give you a notification that we're live. So then I had to close my program and reopen it back up. As we used to say, they won't let us be great. They're out there trying to keep us down. But I do not let technology beat me. You can't beat me, technology. The BCS has made their list, and they're checking it twice. This is it. Top 12 teams. Indiana, after beating Ohio State, comes in at number 1. Ohio State, after that one loss, still rounds up top 2. With Georgia having beaten Alabama, comes in at 3. And Texas Tech rounds up the bye week teams. So they won't be playing next week. They'll be playing the following week after that. So they're getting a nice little break right here. And you have Oregon at 5 will play against James Madison. Ole Miss at number 6, Lane Kiffin's old team, who, by the way, let his coaches go back to coach Ole Miss in these FBS championship games as a courtesy to the kids because they left those kids high and dry, no coach. Talk about loyalty. Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, Bama, Miami, and Tulane. Odd teams out, Notre Dame and BYU. So we have to ask ourselves, is this system airtight? Did we get the best teams? Or will they rethink conference championships of the group of five? Where you have the champions of the American Conference and the champions of the Sun Belt Conference. Last year we had the champions of the Mountain West. It was Boise State. This year, teams like Duke, who won the conference championship game, but they have a record of 8-4, so they were left out. So it's not like basketball where every conference champion gets to go to the dance. So there was a question tonight on the Rubio Method. Is this the end of bowl games? If you don't make the top 12, will the bowls mean anything? Absolutely, man. When I was at UCLA, we only went to the Rose Bowl once. We went to the Aloha Bowl. I think we were 6-6. And I'll tell you, we had more fun at the Aloha Bowl than we did at the Rose Bowl. 6 months of grinding, lifting weights, running, slaving over this idea of winning a championship. The season doesn't turn out how you want it to. Guys getting suspended, guys getting injured, losing games where you just throw the tape away. We went to a Hawaii Bowl game on Christmas and had a great time. Riding scooters, body surfing, hanging out, eating, Jack in the Box in the wee hours of the night. It was an experience. We might have been there a little bit too long because we got whooped by Kansas. I think it was 50-20 or something like that. We had too much fun. But it's the last chance for the seniors to really put a period on their career. And that's why today's Tender Love Report includes Notre Dame. Notre Dame misses the FBS playoffs by a vote. So they're 10-2 and they're not going to the dance. So they took the approach that if we can't be in the big dance, we don't want to dance at all. So they're not going to a bowl. And they're not the only team, but other teams had different circumstances. They have their coach, they have their players, they're ready to play. But they believe they should be playing for a national championship, not for a bowl. So what they do, they decline the bowl offer to stick it to the FBS, to stick it to the NCAA. And this goes back to my other gripe in this whole thing. What about the kids? What about those seniors who thought they had one more game? Like, everybody's not going pro, but everybody can play in that game. You just robbed those kids of a chance to play the game one more time. A lot of those guys, that was their last game. That happened to my son's high school team. COVID hit. So playing a football game was everything. But the team got sick. We didn't have enough players to play, so they canceled the game. They did not get closure. The season was ended abruptly. Thankfully, the kids were mature enough to understand there's a worldwide epidemic, pandemic, shutdown. So things happen and we can't control them. And this matter, I would like to hear from the Notre Dame players. I would like to hear how they feel about it. Because apparently they did not ask them. Because I promise you, 99% of those dudes want to play. The few kids that are going pro, they can sit out. That's normal now. We don't want you to get hurt in a game that doesn't mean anything. But the school, the exposure the school gets, I said tonight on the Rubio Method, I think this is a bad look for Notre Dame. That recruits will see that the school looks out for the school before they look out for the kids who have signed up to play football at that school. And I know Notre Dame is an independent school, no conference. So they're being punished for not having a conference championship? Or are they being punished for being independent and always doing their own thing? Remember, they had that big NBC deal where they don't have to share any money with NCAA. Meanwhile, Alabama gets the brakes beat off of them and they're in the playoffs. Matter of fact, Bama has 3 losses. The only 3-loss team in the FBS championships. There used to be a time where you had a loss, you're out. They got 3. Miami squeezes in. Tulane won their conference, and James Madison won their conference. You know, what dictates which conference champion gets to get in? 11-2 Tulane, 12-1 James Madison. They've earned it. I remember a time where the smaller schools would go undefeated and they could lay claim to the national championship even though they hadn't played anybody. We're 12-0. Natty, ring me. Rubio's in here. Leon Frazier's in here on YouTube. That's different. Here you go. He's back on Facebook. He's on both. Bruce had thoughts on Alabama getting throttled and still being number 9. I think that's a relationship. That's Bama saying, NCAA, you owe us. So take care of us. Make sure we're in there. And it doesn't even look right. They got 3 losses. And they lost the chance. Like, if they lost and they got 3 losses, it shouldn't be in there, period. Now, had they won, say they were 9-3 and they won the SEC championship and they were the hottest team in America, okay, then I can understand it. But they couldn't even pass the 50-yard line versus Georgia. Like, they were outclassed. They were outplayed. Head coach Kalen DeBoer looks out of his league. Bama has no chance to win this whole thing. Papo is in here. What's good, sir? It was popping at your school today, man. One of my students who talked too much got what he deserved. Not saying I condone violence of any kind, but I came from a time where people who always put their foot in their mouth or always had something to say about somebody's family finally met his match. Let's just say he'll learn to not talk about anybody's sister ever again. Bruce said, we had too much fun at the Aloha Bowl. Let those kids go to a bowl, man. Let those kids have some fun. They've been tight all year, wearing the sweater with the collar out and tucking their sweaters in and shaving. Let those Notre Dame kids let their hair down for a couple weeks and have some fun. Do you think this will push Notre Dame to actually join a conference? I think this is going to make Notre Dame even more independent. This is now a big bank take little bank contest. This is, you don't tell me what to do. This is a pushing contest. You're not going to bully me. We're Notre Dame, or should I say Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. They've been independent this long. I don't think anything is going to change. That's weird. Like UConn being independent made no sense to me. UConn is a Big East team. Well, if there's no Big East, just join the next conference. You're not big enough to be by yourself. Hey. I am excited though. You see my shirt. My polo shirt is letting you know that the Bruins have new life in Bob Chesney. Will it work? I don't know. But he's been doing it for a long time with little. Now he's going to do it with more. He got paid a handsome raise, not to count my man's pockets, but he goes from $800,000 to close to $7 million per year. I'm sure his wife said, "Take it, fool." Waiting on Penn State, he was like, "Yo, I would love to be at Penn State." But Penn State big-timed him and said he's not big enough. And they miss out. Now they wish they had him because they're seeing the buzz that he's creating in Westwood. He just touched down yesterday. Or was it today? I'm getting my days mixed up. But he addressed the audience. The great Jim Hill asked him about pressure. He said, "Pressure's for servicemen and surgeons, the military and surgeons. What we do, as long as we're prepared, there shouldn't be any pressure. Life or death is pressure. Football is a game. If we prepare for it properly and we take care of what we need to take care of, we can be successful." This man has been a winner everywhere he's went. Everywhere he's been, he's won. And he has James Madison in the Bowl Championship Series at 12-1. So I'm going to have to trust him. That he knows what he's doing. Best believe I'm going to take myself down there and find out what's going on. I got to take care of home too. And see what's really going on in Westwood. Is this guy the guy? And is he going to be here for a while? When you're that hot, you get poached. I think Rubio said there's a sweet spot. You win 9 games, 10 games. If you ever win 12, you're going to get poached like Lane Kiffin. On to the next. So do the Chiefs get in the playoffs because the NFL owe them, like Bama? Nah, that's not how that works. I think the Chiefs and the Eagles going to be in Cancun. I think the Chiefs going to go to Cancun a week earlier than the Eagles. 2 weeks earlier than the Eagles. SG Trilogy in here. Plug 1. Broham, what's good? The Bruins swag is fresh. I appreciate it, man. I had to dip into the crates. We got a new sheriff in town, and he's buttoned up, so I'm buttoned up. No hat, no glasses. Go Bruins. 4's up. Brought his family. Family looks happy. Family had on UCLA gear. Off the jet plane. Ready to go. So it looks like my man's bought in. Of course, he talks a great game. I love Deshaun Foster, but he just wasn't ready. His press conference didn't feel like this press conference today. I think if we can go back and do it over again, we would have got Deshaun Foster some press conference training, head coaching, verbiage training on things you need to say when you address the audience, when you address the media, when you go to the Big Ten conference media day. What's your tone? All that stuff reflects confidence and professionalism. And if you're not prepared for it, you'll come across as if you don't know what you're doing. And sad to say, even though he had some bright spots during his, maybe 10 games, whatever he coached the previous year, and then 3 games this year, it looked very incompetent. but I know he's a good coach. He's just not a head coach yet. So let's not throw away Deshaun Foster. Just like I'm saying, let's not throw away Martin Jarmon. A man's doing the best he can. I'm not advocating for him to be the AD forever, but I am saying let's give him a chance. You got Bob Chesney. Bob Chesney speaks highly of Martin Jarmon. Let's just ride it till the wheels fall off. We got our man. Recruits are going to start coming because they see the change in the attitude already, the excitement. And then we're going to see who he keeps on the staff. Can he keep Nico in Westwood? Or will he bring his all-conference quarterback, running back, linebacker, and freshman of the year defensive end from James Madison? Competition will be a lot stiffer in the Big Ten than in the Sun Belt Conference. But I think once you have a guy who believes in your system, they play at a high level, they can play fast, and it won't matter. As we see with Indiana, no 5 stars, no 4 stars, all 3 stars, and no stars. Coached up, believing in each other, playing a certain brand of ball, and looking like the best team in America. Coach Cignetti of Indiana came from James Madison. UCLA's head coach, Bob Chesney, is at James Madison right now. So if we can replicate what Indiana did, we got action. The major hiccup will be, I don't think Indiana's academic requirements are as stiff as UCLA's. That's where we're going to have to see if we can't bend the rules a little bit. Because you don't have to take an SAT anymore for public schools in America, just the private schools who require it. So can't we get some students that might need a little bit of help, like we did in the early 90s? Academically challenged students would have tutors. We even had the actual professors giving study sessions during our time at Sunset Village. Now, you had to really, really not do well in school to not benefit from that. I thought that was a huge benefit for us. And of course, we still had dudes who didn't take advantage. They would still laugh at that. But if you have the actual professor speaking to you once or twice a week in a very small group, no more than 10 people, chances are you're going to get the answers to the test in every class. All you have to do is pay attention. So I was grateful for that benefit. I took advantage of that benefit and did pretty well academically, even in topics like statistics, 50, whatever that class was. That class was death. Atmospheric sciences, poli-sci, all those classes were dreadful. But when the professor came to study hall, and that's the academic plus financial investment that was made back in the day. You have to pay the professor to come after hours to tutor students, just to hang out with us for a couple hours off the clock. And that might have even been in violation for all we know, but it was a needed entity of what we were doing to keep certain guys eligible. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, class was not easy. I went to class every day. And there were guys who didn't go to class every day. And I'm thinking to myself, how are they going to get a grade and be eligible? It was those tutors, man. It was the help they got after hours. If a college athlete flunks, he is trying to flunk. The school does not want any athletes to fail since it makes the school and the team look bad. And they'll be ineligible. Nothing worse than seeing a guy in street clothes and you have to say, we're not sure why he's not playing today. It must be disciplinary. No, Jimmy doesn't go to class. Timmy does not go to tutoring. Jake does not go to study hall. Billy does not go to office hours. So they don't tell you that when you're getting recruited. You got to go to office hours. You better get to know your professor. And what did they do during our time? They brought the professors to us. They held office hours at our pavilion, in our cafeteria building, brand new building, air conditioned. It was brilliant. But we still had about 10 guys pass, drop out. Rubio, I'll put guys on blast, man. Oh man, who was this? We had Tom Baldwin and Eric Holcomb and Hickson. We had a bunch of guys, T Ford, all these guys. And they told us that our very first day, look to your left and look to your right. Chances are they will not be here at graduation. And he was not lying. A lot of them guys didn't come to go to class. They came to play ball. And when ball don't go right, things aren't going smooth. Who needs ball? Just go back home and start their life. Tragic, man, tragic. All right, let me take a quick break. After this message, we'll get back into things, talk about my Raggedy Eagles real quick. So don't go too far. Be right back after this message from All In CDO Training. Are you ready to take control of your future? All In CDO Training is more than just a driving school. We're your partner in achieving financial independence. Overcoming test anxiety, struggling with self-doubt? We're here to help. Our expert instructors provide personalized support to guide you through the entire process. With flexible hours and online courses, we'll get you behind the wheel in as little as 3 months. It's time to turn your passion into a rewarding career. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. All right. All In CDO Training. It's that time once again. January is a great time to start a new career. New Year's resolutions being made all over the place. Why not get your Class A license? You making minimum wage? You can make, after you've been driving for a few years, because you've been working minimum wage for a long time, and you make what, $25,000 a year? You can make that in one trip with a Class A license. So chew on that for a little bit. All right, so my Eagles, and I was trying my best to get to the game. I was trying my best to get down to SoFi to see the Chargers versus the Eagles last night. And the Lord blessed me with no clicks on my request for anybody that had an extra Eagles Chargers ticket. I was going to hop on the freeway, head on out after school, see my birds whoop on the Chargers. But I kept looking at those last minute seats, and the price was not going down. And I know the Chargers are cashing in on the popularity of the Eagles and other teams that come to town and fill up the stadium more than Chargers fans. I get that. But I wasn't about to pay $200 to sit in the nosebleeds. If I'm gonna spend $200, $300, I want to sit in the top, first 5 or 10 rows, like I did when the Rams played the Eagles 2 years ago. When me and my son was on the 5-yard line, I think like 15 rows back, we was right there in the mix. We was right there on the field. It's hard to go back when you get that close. I couldn't see myself sitting up in the nosebleed, so I sat it out, stayed at home, and watched this debacle of a football game by Jalen Hurts. The worst game of his pro career. So bad it looked like it was fixed. The man had 2 turnovers on the same play. It might be the first time in the history of football that a quarterback throws an interception. The person who intercepted it gets it stripped, and the quarterback recovers it, and then he fumbles it again. That sounds like a movie by Oliver Stone. I had him in my fantasy team. I think he had 4 points. A.J. Brown dropping touchdowns, dropping first down, alligator arms. Like, when have you known A.J. Brown to be afraid to get hit? The first play that they threw to him was on his fingertips. He did not even try to lay out a little bit, even stretch out. He just ran normal, threw his hand out, and didn't catch the ball. Meanwhile, Smitty's catching the ball, getting drilled across the middle of the field. I hope A.J. Brown is happy, because he cried. He made a fuss that he wasn't getting touches, and he wants to be a part of the winning. Well, guess what? Now you're getting 12, 15 touches, and we're losing. This is what A.J. Brown said. A.J. Brown said, as he's going to try to defend Jalen Hurts now, you can't just point a finger. I think all of us have a hand in that pocket, and we're trying to get better. You know, Jalen is a quarterback, so he's going to get a lot of the stuff for it. But we in this thing together. I'm not even sure how to take this, man. You cry and moan about touches, and you touched the ball 4 times and didn't catch the ball, and you still got your numbers, and we lost again. When Jalen Hurts kept telling y'all, it's all about winning. I'm not counting nobody's catches. I'm not counting anybody's yards. I'm trying to win. The Eagles scored on a gimmick play, a tush-push fake. Saquon takes to the house. He finally breaks 100 yards. I still believe we're cursed from when Saquon was playing golf with Trump. We can't get back to what we know we are. We protect the football. That was the worst. Both teams. Shout out to Justin Herbert, who played with one hand and got sacked 7 times and still won. That was a great play by those DBs from the Chargers at the end of the game. When you got a China route concept, if that corner does not jump the out completely, you got to put some air on that ball. You can't just throw it on a rope. You got to put it out of the reach of the corner who's sinking to the corner. And why are you going to Jahan Dotson on the short side of the field? It was just a bad game. And if this is what it looks like when Sirianni gets involved in the offense, is everybody getting fired this year? From the Super Bowl to the toilet bowl. From Arizona to Cancun. That was terrible, man. Since 1978, Happy Boy, oh Lord. The Queenie Lane is back, long time no see. It was, so are you saying 1978 is the last time that happened? Because that Trump has nothing to do with it. Go Cowboys. It's bad juju, man. He ain't been right since. You hang with bad people, you get bad vibes. I'm surprised at you, happy boy. I know you're a good dude. That's why I don't deal with no politics, man. Everybody's lying. Y'all know I rock with Yeshua. He's the only one that's true. Everybody else lying. Everybody else trying to make friends. You can't tell me Saquon ain't been different since that day of golf with y'all commander in chief. He ain't been right since. Can't get right now. Meanwhile, the Colts signed old Colin Kaepernick. Scratch that. Not Cap. Old Phillip Rivers. 44 years old with 20 kids. For the remainder of the season on the practice squad. Most likely gets brought up to the active roster next week. This is bad, man. You might as well sign Colin Kaepernick. Because the Colts have playoff aspirations, as do most teams who are over 500. Just like Cowboys hope they can make it, but they lost last week just like we lost this week. We can't win for losing. We got the Raiders this week. I'm going to say this, man. So as the Colts are going to bank on old man Rivers at 44 years old, I think he just wants to get out the house with all them kids. If the Eagles lose to the Raiders, not only will I pay Happy Boy $2, but I will say it is officially over. You could put an E next to our name as eliminated. If we lose to the Raiders, it is over. Over. Like, blow it up. Trade A.J. Brown. Let some of the guys just got to go. It's time to start over. Because it's just Sirianni got to go. 1 year removed from Super Bowl. That would be crazy. 2 turnovers by a quarterback in the same play in 1978. Who was that? Ron Jaworski? Was it an Eagle? Were both of them Eagles? Roop said, I heard they signed him since he was familiar with the offense, since he was coaching it at his high school kids team and was in communication with the coach weekly about it. Because he was running that offense at his high school? I thought because the OC had Phillip Rivers before. That is crazy. You run our offense, so come in. I know why Flacco fit in instantly with the Bengals. But Phillip Rivers with the Colts, because he ran the offense at his high school? Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy work. You're probably wondering why I got these bandages on my fingers. All right. Quick story. Never slam your car trunk from the side as you try to hustle to work, because your finger might get caught in the trunk jam that slams and clamps onto the hook. The clamp grabbed my finger and almost snatched it off. So I praise Yeshua for saving my finger and just making it so that it was bleeding a little bit. I went ahead on to work. Everything was good. My wife says, you need to go to the doctor. And I said, nope. I'll just bandage it up real good, put some antibiotics on it, and keep an eye on it. And if it gets worse, I'll go. But I'm not getting no stitches if I don't need stitches. 3 days removed, I think it's good. 1 more day of bandages, I should be good to go. As G said, my Raiders stink. As I'm saying, if y'all beat us, I know it's a fix. I know the fix is on. The Eagles whooped everybody last year, and this year everybody's whooping the Eagles. My son, Raiders, they are terrible. And this will be the key. Is the game in Philadelphia? Where is the game? Eagles versus Raiders. This is actually a throwback rivalry. Week 15. Raiders come to Philly. Now, you know how the Philly fans are. If we even get behind by 3 points, it's going to be a problem. I say Eagles by 14 points, but I don't know. We ain't scored 2 touchdowns in the game in a long time. So I'm not even that optimistic. I expect, but I'm not very optimistic about it, man. Meanwhile, Shador, this is my attempt to get the algorithm popping. Shador Sanders throws for 350 plus. Is the starter for the remainder of the season with Dylan Gabriel there, with Deshaun Watson there. They're not going to clear him just to keep the controversy down. Does Stefanski keep his job after this? After this young man refuses to throw him under the bus for taking him out the game for a 2-point conversion just to show we can play without this kid. Whatever your reasoning was that we do this play, we ran this play and it worked in practice. Well, that play looked terrible. That play looked like they should never run it ever again. And you should never take the hot hand out the game. That was just ridiculous. If you did a play like that, you keep him in as a decoy. You have him at quarterback, you shift him out, go to Wildcat, make the defense think it's going to be a double pass, do something. Instead, you leave it up to your rookie running back to read a defensive end who crashes down. He keeps the ball when he should have pitched it. Had he pitched it, it's a touchdown. And that moment of indecision cost them the game. Meanwhile, Shador is on the sideline with a look on his face like, what just happened? I just threw dot after dot to bring us back. Tragic, man. But the kid played a game. And it was the first of many matchups with Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. So they're going to be pretty good players. Shador outplayed Cam, but Cam got the win. What's more important for a quarterback? 300 yards or the dub? It's the dub. Ask Jalen Hurts. The dub is way more important. Can you win? Can the team rally behind you? That's what it is. And apparently his teammates love him. The Cleveland Browns are must-watch TV. I wouldn't be surprised if they flex out some of their games since we know Shador is going to start. They're going to flex out some of those games, and we're going to be getting blessed quite quick. Dr. Frazier said, go Packers. Are y'all back in first place? Because the Bears dropped down from number 1 to number 9 in a matter of 2 weeks. It's called the NFL. It stands for not for long. Shout out to the late, great Jerry Glanville. Don't forget the Raiders have Geno Smith. Guaranteed win for the Eagles. Oh, Geno. And Geno was not bad in Seattle. But he is terrible in Vegas. We need that to get off the schneid. We could have got off the schneid. I mean, we beat the Lions, man. The Lions beat the Cowboys, who are probably the hottest team in the league. And the Lions beat the Cowboys with a defensive coordinator calling offensive plays. Dan Campbell is not an offensive coordinator. He is now. That's his team. I think Nick Sirianni needs to take a page out of Dan Campbell's book and start calling plays. Happy boy said, I got 8 quarters on the faders. 8 big ones. The Raiders to beat the Eagles? Man. All right. 8 quarters to my $2 bill. Let's do it. And we can't beat the Raiders, man. Sheesh. I hope one of them quarters is a 1974. So the Packers are in first place. Oh, boy. Guess who's on the Packers, happy boy? Micah Parsons. Ain't that something? That's wild, if you ask me. My 2 cents. Hey, let me go ahead and strike this up while I have a chance. Y'all remember
Now
this?
Timmy Trumpet takes center stage as Edwin Diaz gets ready to come in.
Guess who's coming to LA? I played this last year. I'm sure trumpeteers all over Los Angeles are trying out to get that spot to be that guy that plays the trumpet when Edwin Diaz comes out the bullpen. We have our closer, what we were missing last year. So now it's not just Yamamoto who started the game, who had to come back in the World Series and finish the game. And we have some young prospects, but Edwin Diaz, 3 years, $70 million. And the trumpets getting the crowd going. I'm excited, man. We might mess around and win again. The best team money can buy. As he said, Gino and old school Pete can kick rocks. Pete, somebody said Lincoln Riley to Penn State and Pete Carroll goes back to USC. I said, I'm all for it. Old Pete go back to SC so we can have a chance. The Rams look good. Yeah, the Rams do look good, but the Rams got beat last week by the Panthers. So they're human. They can get beat. Matthew Stafford can throw some interceptions when he feels like it. Mexicans in Dodger Stadium are going to lose their minds every time he enters the game. They'll already lose their mind anytime, but now it's not going to just be a Japanese reliever coming in. Now you got a Mexican reliever. Is Diaz Mexican or Puerto Rican or Dominican? Doesn't even matter. His name is Diaz, and he has a trumpeter playing his intro music. They're going to go crazy. They're going to go crazy. I might have to go to a game. I didn't go to a Dodger game this year. It's my first time in a long time not going to a game. I usually go at least once. I take my son. When they had those all-you-can-eat Dodger dogs, he would eat like 5 of them. The last time we went, it was I think a noon game, and there was no all-you-can-eat pavilion, and we had to go through the Hall of Fame skybox or whatever it was, and nothing was free. Everything was like extra expensive. So I'm like, this is not fun. That's why I haven't been back. So I'm cheap like that. I like those free. They're not free. You pay for your ticket to go to the game, then you get the benefits, and those benefits are gone. So I was not happy about that. But Edwin Diaz in LA, not mad. The Clippers clip CP3 on his retirement tour. I think that should have been on the Tender Love report. But then again, I have inside report of an employee of the Clippers said CP3 was not well received in the Clippers organization, let alone the locker room. So you figure old, rigid, cantankerous veteran, always having something to say about everything. At some point, it got old. Tyronn Lue said, I ain't talking to you for 3 or 4 weeks. And before you know it, Matter of fact, man, you could just stay here in Miami and find your own way home. You have been released from the Los Angeles Clippers on a road trip. That's up there with Lane Kiffin getting fired out on a tarmac for USC. Like, we don't even want to wait. You're done now. So what does that mean for CP3? Does CP3 get his retirement tour with a different team? Or is that it? Is that how he goes out? No championship and no tour. I heard he's very difficult. I heard he doesn't have very many friends around the office. He doesn't have very many friends at the locker room. He's old school. These youngsters don't care who you once were. I don't see no championships. Your name is not on the stadium. You don't have a statue outside. So who are you? I would assume he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but based on what years of, I guess, rumored leadership, because he has not gotten close to a championship. I think the closest he got was the Houston Rockets when he pulled his hamstring. So what is the end for CP3? Frazier said, we should. My son bowling in the Mookie Betts tournament in the week. Oh, boy. I would love to bowl in the Mookie Betts tournament. Four wins. CP3 should be upset. What has T. Lou did? Who got 4 wins? The Clippers only got 4 wins? Oh, my goodness. Is this the truth? I haven't followed basketball yet because football is my favorite sport and basketball is like 100 games. So I'm not in a hurry. I know we got plenty of games to go. But you said the Clippers got 4 wins. I don't even see their names. Like, are they ever playing? I don't even see their name on the roster. All right, here we go. Clippers are 6-18. That's terrible. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, as Bubba Dub would say, trash. But I would go check them out. When did the Sixers come to town? Sixers not messing around, getting better. Gonna be worth watching real soon. All right, so Tender Love. I've already talked about how terrible it is that these teams are deciding not to play in the bowl. It's been a while. Let's strike up the music while I have a chance. All right, so Tender Love for all the teams claiming that they'd rather not go to a bowl game. Shame on you. Notre Dame, Iowa State, Kansas State. Iowa State and Kansas State going through coaching changes. Understandable. Florida State, Auburn, UCF, Baylor, Kansas, Rutgers, and Temple. They're going to let 5 and 7 teams go to a bowl because there are no 6 and 6 teams that want to go. Very tender. Back by popular demand. The originator of Tender Love himself, Anthony Davis, got hurt in 2 different places on the same play. He hurt his hand on the dribble. He hurt his knee on the drive. So right here, he's just jammed his thumb. He stays on defense. He's moving his feet, jams his knee. Can't make this stuff up, man. Good old Tender Love. He back, y'all. He can't help it. He really can't help it, man. He can't help it. Some people are just tough and some people are just tender. Hey, he got 1 championship in LA. And then LeBron said, all right, that's enough. LeBron shipped him out of here so fast. And how do you end up with Luka? I don't know how they finessed that, man. How they finessed that, I have no idea to this day. I don't even know if the Mavs know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. Now the GM is fired. What happened? How did that happen? Somebody explain. Oh, man. Tender Love is back, bro. My last segment, I got 1 minute. I watched the Puffy documentary on Netflix produced by 50 Cent. And I don't do politics and I don't do smut. But this one is sports related because Puff Daddy's son Justin is all in the documentary. And I'm thinking to myself, he played football at UCLA. And I'm thinking to myself, what's he doing with himself now? And you look at the documentary, he's into the same foolishness his dad's into. So that UCLA education and business and marketing, is he using it? His head coach was Rick Neuheisel, the guy who recruited me when I was a pup. Coming out of high school, he was my receiver coach. He was the head coach at UCLA. He said, I recruited Justin Combs because his dad was Sean Combs, the rap mogul. It could only bring publicity to our program. The only reason why I recruited him, he was too small to play here at UCLA. He was not good enough to play here at UCLA. He was a 2-star out of New Jersey. Nobody plays football in New Jersey. He was the best player in New York for a reason. New York does not produce football players. Maybe one every 10 years. I know somebody's going to get mad at that. But no, New York's not known for football players. They're known for basketball players. We have a 5'8" corner with decent speed. And we all remember Diddy got in big trouble for beating up our strength coach. And it came back to Coach Neuheisel. Why would you bring such a guy on your team whose dad is that volatile? And he's like, hey, man, at the time, we recruited because it was going to bring us eyes on the program. Yeah, it brought some eyes. You brought the wrong kind of flavor to the campus, and he beat the strength coach up with a kettlebell, if I'm not mistaken. Not good, man. Not what we do at UCLA at all. But the documentary was something fierce. Not sure how much of it was straight up gospel because 50 Cent is paying. But I will add that Marlon Wayans coming to the defense of Diddy, saying that karma was going to hit 50 Cent for making the movie in the first place. How about all evil will come to the light? It don't matter who presents it or who thinks it's not your place to present it. For those who party with him and those who are against him, I know, let he who is without sin, let him cast the first stone. I get that. But there are so many people who are defending the activities of what is being shared or disclosed in this doc that makes you wonder, what kind of dirt were you involved in that you would be defending such behavior? We know 50 is petty, but if he went and got the information, he got the footage that was being suppressed, shame on you for not paying the videographers. That's how that works. And this, so I'm not talking out the side of my neck, I'll end this show with some scripture. Luke 12:2. You can do your homework. Nothing covered that will not be revealed. Ephesians 5:13. Everything eventually will come to the light. And that is not Cat Williams. That is scripture. Everything. For he said in 2025, things will be exposed. It ain't like he's a prophet. He's just saying everything becomes visible in the light. Now, to the other side of that, Romans 2:1, therefore you have no excuse. Everyone of you who judges, for in passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself, because you, the judge, practice the very same things. So if you are trying to justify somebody's actions so deeply, chances are you involved in the same stuff. Marlon Wayans called it karma, and that's demonic in itself. It's cosmic. I'm going to say you reap what you sow. So my suggestion to all these people who are on one side or the other, you do not worship no celebrities. Diddy got a gunk complex. He has a demon on his spirit. You can see it in his face. He's going to get what he ultimately deserves. It's not our place to do anything to him. It's going to happen to him based on what he's put out there. But those who have aligned with him, those who were compliant to it, those who were in his camp knowing this stuff was going on, you got to answer to that too. Guys who said they were waking up sore and you stuck around for a paycheck, shame on you. You know he's involved in all these people not being here no more. We can't prove it, so why are you saying it? I don't need for the court of public opinion. Who's the common denominator in all this? That's what I look at. And then look at somebody's life and the fruit thereof. That's all I need to see. So unfortunately, this UCLA Bruin, that is his son, has walked right into the footsteps. He knows everything. And he's down for everything because he has not separated himself from his father. So 4 is up, go Bruins, but hopefully he gets his life together before his dad takes him down. Sad, sad, sad. But it's the reality. It's a good lesson for anybody. Do not get wrapped up in this celebrity foolishness. It's a dark, dark world. All right, y'all. That's my show. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Once again, try to get this going every Tuesday at 9. Been going strong for about 4 years now. I didn't even know the Clippers were still a thing. They are like the Expos. The Expos? Who did the Dodgers play in the World Series? Was that the Expos or the Blue Jays? Dwight said, always glad to see. Oh, appreciate you, OG. That's my OG, Big Dwight Smith. I meant to reach out to you to say thank you for your service. And if you had any new chicken wing recipes, that's the chicken connoisseur. You see, I'm a sandwich connoisseur. Big Dwight is the chicken wings connoisseur. He put me on game to some different types of chicken wings. So now I can't get my kids to stop asking for chicken wings. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Sounds about right. SG, I appreciate you guys. Until next time. Peace out. Shalom. Happiness and love. All those good things. I'm out.